I think that women have to be more sinister in their day-to-day lives as a survival mechanism because they don't have the brute strength that us men have. And when they see the brute strength of a man mixed with the sinister manipulation and evil that a lot of it's depicted in
Mhm.
these like kind of Draculas, the Lokis, the people, Lucifer characters, right? All of these like traditionally evil bad guys, like
Mhm.
Negan. Negan's like very remember
Mhm.
Negan from The Walking Dead?
Mhm.
Very
Mhm.
very masculine, very evil, but also like a little sexy, a little seductive, a little satanic, a little he's got a little swagger to him, a little bit of femininity to the way he handles himself, like a pimp
Mhm.
almost, right?
Mhm.
And I think that girls, to an extent, really relish in that power because they look at a guy and they're like, you do things so brutally, but if you just had this little bit more finesse, like, like girls have,
Mhm.
um, they see it as like this perfect combo. I think it's a mixture of it's the power they can see themselves wielding, and B, more so they
Mhm.
understand like this guy is just a very powerful, evil, bad individual.
Mhm.
And I think women look at a bad guy and an evil guy as more powerful than like a good guy, right?
Mhm.
I
Right
think like
now, for sure. Yeah.
yeah, and then I think you like take the Hollywood Captain America like facade away.
Mhm.
When it comes down to the hardcore reality of life, I think girls see evil guys as more strong than good guys who even hold themselves back.
Mhm.
And girls, at the end of the day, girls just want a powerful man. They want the most powerful man that can protect them. And they are so full of themselves with female solipsism that they want like this guy to be a harsh monster to the world and come home and be like, let's look at these flowers together.
I'm the
You know,
only one that can tame the savage beast.
I
You're
mean,
Satan, I know, but only and that's literally what goes on in the show.
dude,
Chloe is the only one that makes him vulnerable.
one of the most popular Disney stories in Japan is
Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast,
Yes,
because they
because
see this
it's
big
an archetypal story.
terrifying man. Japanese guys are pussies for the most part, and they see like this
Mhm.
big terrifying beast, and then the woman is able to like tame him, and then these girls love it, man. I can't tell you how many times I've been out with girls and I hear them when they're with me.
They're singing the song to themselves.
Dude,
It's not Frozen. It's like from Beauty and the Beast.
dude, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, these girls, they are really, really sold on this Beauty and the Beast thing. It's Beauty and the Beast, and they love Ariel the Little Mermaid when she sings A Whole New World, because like
Mhm.
Japan is like so xenophobic and like isolated from the world. They like go out into the world like, oh my god, there's a whole other world out here, but they eat with forks and not chopsticks.
Yeah. How Western. Yes, I totally agree. And that's funny you should say that, because I think that there is an innate kind of almost like species level hindbrain, lizard brain connection that women have with guys who have a capacity for violence. And who has the most capacity for violence is the bad guy, the
Yeah.
black hat guy, the guy who is not, you don't want to mess with him. He's bad news kind of guy. And there is, especially I think in a gynocentric social or feminine primary world, in girl world, right?
Mhm.
Women believe that it's still going to be okay. It's Dalrock used to refer to this as the roller coaster, right? Women want to get on this roller coaster and be sure that they're going to die, right? They want the experience to be so realistic and so dangerous that that it tricks the mind, right? That's what they really want. They want Lucifer Morningstar, right? They want the bad guy. They want the guy who has the really high capacity for violence. And in some cases, women, especially when it comes to like things like hybristophilia, which is, women loving on guys who are convicted felons, and in most cases, like, convicted murderers. The reason why they fall in love with those guys and the reason why federal prisons have to keep the female guards from the male population is because they fall in love with those guys, because they have that sort of primal capacity for violence, and they've proven it, because that's why they're in jail in the first place. But it's that idea, I think, that they're on this roller coaster, but they know that they're safe. right? At any moment, they want to feel the car like careening out of control, and then at the very last moment, the parachute deploys, right? And then everything is okay. Or there's men behind the scenes that are going to make sure that they're going to be safe and sound as a result of that. And so then they can enjoy themselves in fantasies like Twilight, like 50 Shades of Grey, right? 50 Shades of Grey was, of course, as you know, I've talked about this for a long time. This is in my 4th book. It's like one of the most popular books in the history of books, right? Written by a fan fiction author who self-published. So it's not like it was foisted upon women. It's not like this was a social convention. This is what women sought out. It was word of mouth.
The artist formerly known as Miss MLD, right?
Mm-hmm.
She lives out in the countryside of Japan. Okay, like I'm talking like you have to take from the nearest main city is Osaka. From Osaka to take a train, it's about an hour and a half to get to where she lives. And then from her station, she has to ride her bicycle 20 minutes to get to her home, which is in the literal middle of a rice field. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a copy of 50 Shades of Grey translated into Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
That shows it's a female nature. They
Mm-hmm.
like there's a comedian that said, 50 Shades of Grey would be like a CSI episode if the guy was doing it in a trailer park.
Mm-hmm.
But because he's like super rich and like a multi-jillionaire, it's
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden it's a massive love story
Right.
and like every woman's fantasy. But if this guy was doing it at like the Motel Inn, they'd be like,
Yeah.
on this
Oh, it's
episode of
creepy.
CSI.
It's you're a sex trafficker at that point, right?